I don't think Oregon's 20-30 loss to Indiana should sound the alarm bells, especially after the way they responded to the Rutgers game. So let me tell you why that is. Oregon is strong in a variety of ways. I think they are in a group of 4 teams that are national title favorites. Indiana is another. Obviously, they've played well. They have shown that they are consistent. They beat Oregon. Ohio State's in that category, reigning national champs. Before I continue, liking the video, watching the video all the way through, and commenting your thoughts down below are the best ways to support the channel, as they help push me into the algorithm, help me to receive a larger paycheck that I can use to reinvest in producing elite analysis for you all. Subscribing to the channel, hitting the notification bell, sharing the video around, and supporting us in other ways that you can find out via the description are other awesome ways to support our operation at College Football with Sam. We are becoming the best. We want to be the best. Thank you all for making that possible. Number 1 consensus in power ratings, and they are undefeated. Also the favorites per FanDuel by a pretty good chunk to win it all. And then there's Alabama, the current SEC favorite. They have played the toughest schedule out of all 4 of these teams, and they've looked pretty dominant in all of those games outside of the loss to Florida State, which kind of looks more like a fluke than anything else. For Oregon, I'm not worried because their lines of scrimmage are big, beefy, physical, athletic, and they play angry. They strap you to a chair and they force you to eat the pizza. And they make you swallow all of that grease, and they make you feel like absolute crap. That is what Oregon's trench play does. Their offensive line, I think, is close to perfect in run blocking. Their defensive line, great at stopping the run, great at getting to the quarterback. Offensive line, I would say, is great at pass protection. It's an area we'll talk about in a few minutes here that they could improve on, but they're still overall good there. I really think that lines of scrimmage play is important, especially for teams that don't have centennial receiver or perimeter talent. So Ohio State has amazing lines of scrimmage play, but they, if they get beat there, can go to other avenues to win or even dominate. Oregon, I think in the future could do that with how they've been recruiting at wide receiver, and their secondary is pretty phenomenal. It's actually better than Ohio State's in EPA per dropback allowed, but they don't have Jeremiah Smith. They don't have Carnell Tate, and their receiver room isn't as deep yet. And I don't know if it ever will be because Hartline's that good. The point being that if you are not Ohio State, or if you are not some of those Alabama teams with insane receiver skill like 2018 through 20, you especially need that awesome trench play to dominate opponents and to even have a shot at being the best team in America. Oregon has that. They have the physicality, they have the size, they have the run, they have it all. Run blocking, pass blocking, run defense, pass rush. They have it all in the trenches. They're first in points per play margin in large part because in every game they have had wins at the lines of scrimmage. Indiana overall beat them, but on my rewatch, which is what inspired this video, there were points where Oregon was able to win at the lines of scrimmage against an Indiana team that is very stout there. Very stout. Speaking of the lines of scrimmage, the rushing offense for Oregon. So they have ran for 1,693 yards this year, 6.6 yards per carry, and 19 touchdowns. They are on path, especially with the schedule they have, to break 3,000 rushing yards, run over 6 yards per carry, and have like 30 to 40 rushing touchdowns. Maybe even more than that, but probably in the 30 to 40 range. Whether it's De'Aaron Hill, whether it's Noah Whittington, Jaden Lamar, no matter who Oregon trots out there, that offense performs well, especially on the ground. And they're young there, but they're young at really every position outside of parts of the offensive line. Oregon is just, they're a beast. And they will physically pound you if they get the chance. And I think that's a big strength. That's why I think they will win out, and they will be undefeated for the rest of the year and get a home playoff game, or maybe get the bye if they somehow sneak into Indy and win it. Their secondaries improved too. So Oregon brings in Dylan Thieneman. Brandon Finney is a true freshman who's starting for them. Ifeoma Badegwu rotates in as a redshirt freshman. Jaden Kennedy is a transfer from Ole Miss. They added new pieces and got better everywhere. They are more physical. They are taller. They are longer. They are stickier. They are harder hitting, more physical. That secondary impacts every opponent. It's why Mendoza played nearly a perfect game and still threw a pick six, because the secondary is that good. And it took Indiana's receivers to expose any type of hole there. And Indiana has one of the best receiver corps in America. Not Ohio State caliber, but it's one of the nation's best. It's certainly up there, especially if you only look at the duo, the top two receivers. Oregon is, as I mentioned earlier, young across the board. So let's run through their depth chart here. Oregon only brought back about 40% of their production from 2024. Their receivers starting: Malik Benson, senior; Brycen Moore, freshman; Gary Bryant Jr., redshirt senior; Isaiah World, senior; Emmanuel Pregnan, senior; Iapani Lololu, Jr., Dave Uli, Jr., Alex Harkey, senior; Kenyon Sadiq, Jr., Dante Moore, redshirt sophomore; Noah Whittington, redshirt senior. Go into some areas where you're going to rotate, like Perry Cooper, freshman; Jeremiah McClellan, redshirt freshman; Justice Lowe, redshirt junior; Jamari Johnson, backup tight end, redshirt sophomore; Austin Novosad, redshirt sophomore; Brock Thomas, redshirt sophomore; Luke Moga, redshirt freshman; Jaden Lamar Jr., Jordan Davison, freshman; Deer Hill Jr., freshman. On defense, D-line, Mateo Uyunglele, Jr., Bear Alexander, Jr., Amari Washington, Jr., Tatum Tuioti, Jr. You rotate a lot on the D-line. So who's behind them? Ashton Porter, redshirt sophomore; Terrence Green, redshirt sophomore; Tione Gray, redshirt freshman; Blake Purchase, redshirt sophomore; Aiden Breland, redshirt freshman; Jericho Johnson, redshirt freshman. You look at linebacker: Bryce Betcher, redshirt senior; Devin Jackson, redshirt junior; Jerry Mixon, true junior; Gavin Nix, freshman. The secondary: you have Brandon Finney Jr., freshman; Jaden Kennedy, redshirt senior; Dylan Thieneman, junior; Peyton Woodyard, behind Thieneman, sophomore; Aaron Flowers, redshirt freshman; Kingston Lopa, behind Flowers at strong safety, redshirt freshman; Theron Johnson, redshirt senior; behind him, Sione Loole, redshirt junior; and Ifeoma Badegwu is another corner, redshirt freshman. It's a young team, especially in the two deep. And I think they're going to grow, and especially looking at Finney and Brycen Moore, who are true freshman starters and among the better players on the team, I believe that Oregon as a team should get better as the year goes on. And a final strength of theirs is their roster talent. They are the fifth most talented roster in America per 24/7 Sports team talent composite. Specifically zooming in on that Indiana game, though, since Oregon was the loser, there are some added takeaways that I think Oregon can improve on. Since they're the loser, that's going to be my area of focus for Oregon when looking back on that game against Indiana. It'll be different for the Hoosiers when I do that segment. So Oregon, the areas they can improve on, I think will be helped along with added experience and maybe facing some more adversity. Though maybe that game against Indiana was enough adversity. I think the Ducks' greatest friend is experience, followed by the adversity they face. The number one thing they can improve upon is Dante Moore's awareness. So you didn't see this against Penn State, but there was a lot that went right for Oregon in pass protection against Penn State. Penn State doesn't do a good job of getting to the quarterback. Their defensive line and linebacker core has been rather underwhelming this year, and I think that Oregon got away with some holds against Penn State that they did not against Indiana. Like Indiana-Oregon on both sides, I think was much better officiated than Penn State-Oregon, and Indiana-Oregon was not officiated well. I mean, Indiana got away with some things. Oregon got away with like a blatant PI that was super bad. I think everyone can admit that. Now, I'm not saying officials decided the game for Indiana or for Oregon in the Penn State game. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that the Indiana game was very bad for Moore, and since that clearly was their toughest game played yet, that does make me and others question his awareness. So moving forward, he has to do a better job of getting the ball out. He can't try to play hero ball. When a defender's closing in on you and nothing's open, just throw it away. Don't set your team further behind the chains by taking a sack or running out of bounds. Don't do it. Do not do that. So that's number one. Number two is their tackle play. Harkey and World have allowed 16 pressures combined. Harkey, I think, has allowed like 11. Oregon's tackles, I think, are a lot more like guards in their size, like their style of play. They're just big guys that are meant to move you, but do not have the best feet or anchor, which I think is why Oregon's run blocking O-line is so ridiculously good. You have a bunch of movers and bulldozers and shakers out there who can just shove guys over, open up lanes, and then your running backs are tough and physical. You have the perfect rushing attack if you utilize it properly, and if you know how to like line up your offensive linemen on your opponent's defensive linemen and linebackers and they execute their blocks well. But for pass blocking, the guards are good. Poncho Iapani Lololu is fantastic. The tackles are gettable with rushers that have speed, good technique, and with defensive coordinators that know how to send simulated pressure and try to confuse the offensive line. That's where the tackles are gettable. There's still a great tackle duo, though. It's just an area where they can improve. Again, Oregon is a team that is so good that I can nitpick them. And that's really all I can do, honestly. I think maybe sticking to the run could help the Ducks. They did this against Rutgers, where they had around 40 or a little under 40 carries in that game, averaged 11.2 yards per carry, 4 touchdowns for 415 rushing yards. It was crazy what they did. They blocked well in almost every play. They went away from the run a little bit against Indiana, and part of me gets it because IU either gave up usually 5 yards or more on the ground, or they completely stopped them or got the TFL. They were aggressive in run defense. And Moore had some success through the air. So part of me does get that. But at the same time, they had some moments against Indiana where they were winning the lines of scrimmage, their run blocking O-line versus Indiana's run defense. And I think IU has one of the best, if not potentially the best run defense in America. I think a lot of that Old Dominion game where they struggled there was a fluke. I think the real Indiana defensive strength is being the best against the run. So if Oregon maybe sticks to that a little bit more, I think they could have some more success, but that's speculative. And last but not least, I don't know how true this is, because Indiana is this elite team relative to this year. I thought that Indiana clearly was the more physical team on the second rewatch. There was some back and forth there, but at the end of the day, Oregon looked like a good team in that game, but Indiana just looked better and they looked tougher. Really. Like, Oregon's D-line and O-line are ridiculous, but Indiana was able to outpace them and work them there. Indiana also out-schemed Oregon. So if coaching adjustments are made, I would assume this game would probably be closer than it was in Autzen, but maybe it wouldn't be. I don't know. I think that in key moments, whether it was some of those rushing plays or the play where Dylan Thieneman got ran over by Roman Hemby, I think there were some areas where Indiana was the more physical team. I chalk that up, though, to Indiana probably playing one of their better games of the year, to Indiana being one of the best teams in America, and if you take out priors, they're the best team in a lot of advanced metrics. Priors are important, not saying to do so, but that just shows how good of a team IU is this year. And then last but not least, I don't know. I think maybe after that Penn State game, maybe Oregon felt a little bit invincible and got caught off guard there. I don't know, just some speculation, but some areas to suggest that Oregon could improve on. Those are my added takeaways from Oregon and their performance against Indiana. Ultimately, I would not be shocked if this team won at all. I actually have them playing in the national championship game in my most recent college football playoff predictions video. This is one of the best teams in America, one of the best staffs, and one of the best rosters. So there's no reason to sound the alarm bells as long as Oregon continues to win and look good and they don't drop any more games in the regular season. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure, if you haven't already, to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment your analysis and thoughts down below so I can reciprocate my thoughts with you in the comment section, and check out anything on these end screens that are up here. Whether it's a recommended video or playlists for teams that I'm talking about in a preview, prediction, or a reaction, make sure to hit the notification bell on those, scroll through them, and watch any suggested videos if you are interested. Thank you for helping college football with Sam become the best and the biggest college football brand and channel on YouTube and other social media platforms. We will reach that one day because of your support.